What's going on, you guys? We got some new images courtesy of the Spanish FFG site. You may have seen these floating around. They came out yesterday, and it looks like we're getting some unpainted pictures of some of the expansion packs, as well as a preview of the spread of some of the cards that we haven't seen yet. However, these are all in Spanish. I do not speak Spanish, but some people have done a little bit of translating. Not a whole lot here, but some of these images have also caused some people to have some concerns. So here we have our rebel troopers, and I just like seeing all of them kind of close up like this too, because it's nice to, personally for me, as somebody who's going to be painting a lot of stuff, it's nice to see them unpainted to get kind of an idea of the level of detail. You know, sometimes you can see more information here on the ATRT, for example. So you can see a little more information than is actually in the painted one, because sometimes the painted ones tend to, you know, kind of hide some of the detail, or it's easier for me to make it out sometimes. So I appreciate seeing the unpainted ones, give you an idea how they are going to look. I had thought that they were going to be in different colors for each faction, but it appears that that's not the case. So this is kind of taking another page from the Rune Wars playbook, in that it looks like it's they're all going to be gray. So that is something that's interesting. Now this is one that had people a little bit concerned, because the snow speeder looks so small here. So I'm going to talk about that in a well. The idea here is, I think these are photoshopped images. I don't, you know, if you look at the way the angle of this base is on the card, it's not actually sitting on top of the card, because that would make the snow speeder here about just a little bit larger than a rebel trooper. Let's look at this ATRT. This is much larger than that card. So if these images, if these were real, this might make it look like the snow speeder is actually smaller than the ATRT, and it's not. It's actually much larger than that. And we know this from all the other images and the scale that they have put out, that this is not. This is a scaled down version, that they kind of shrunk it and photoshopped it in there just to make it fit. But the snow speeder is going to be much larger than this. An interesting thing is, we had seen like a handle upgrade that they were face down in our spread. And one interesting thing here, we do see some of the guns that are going to come with it. It looks like there's a tow cable in there, or at least it looks like that on the art. But we're seeing wedge Antilles, so I don't need a translator for that. So that is pretty interesting, and it looks like he allows you to pivot 360 degrees. Now, that's, the idea here is, it looks like it's, I'm assuming you can make a K-turn with this if you play X-Wing. Basically, completely turn around. So if you fly towards the edge of the board, you can just turn around, and wedge puts you pointing right back where you want to be. And with a gun that's shooting a buttload of dice here, I'm sure being able to turn anywhere you want is fine. Although 360 degrees sounds funny, because that would not be that you are turning and ending up exactly where you're pointed. I would think a 180 degree turn might be a little bit better, but maybe it's one of those things where they just decided, you know what, let's encompass the entire spectrum so nobody argues it. With 360, we all know what it means, and we just think it's a little silly. If it's 180, somebody might think, well, can you go one way but not the other way? Like, maybe I can turn up and then back to the back, but not down into the back, or something like that. So I think 360 might be something like that. But so it certainly looks like this is a pilot upgrade, and it makes me think, boy, I wish X-Wing had done something like this. Instead of having to have, imagine instead of having to have all these different pilot cards and all these different pieces of cardboard for X-Wings, you could just have one X-Wing card, and you could put a pilot on it if you wanted to. It would make storage so much easier. So I'm excited for that. That's great, and it's a great trend going forward. We also see that there's a pilot card and pilot upgrade slot for the ATST. That's pretty cool, but we don't know who it is, so the speculation certainly remains. And this is another thing too, like if you look at this card here, and you look at the base size of the ATST, this is barely bigger than a snow trooper. Look at the speeder bikes compared to that. The ATST is so much larger than these speeder bikes. It's laughable, yet, you know, so this is how you know these aren't actual completely unmodified images. This is a Photoshop of either a high resolution computer model or an actual production copy. So so that's interesting. Another thing I want to take a look at the ATST is we didn't get to see all of the guns before. Now we can't make out all of the damage on them, but one thing that's interesting right here is that you do have this mortar, which is this thing right here. And if you look at the range, it says 4 and to another symbol, so that might be like 4 to infinity. Which is interesting, or you know, but that means it can't shoot up close, and that would make sense for a mortar. You can't really shoot point blank, you know, at close range with something like that. It's long range only, and then the other two options, like you have a 1 to 2 and a 1 to 3. So you certainly have a lot of different types of weapons there for the ATST. So that's pretty cool, and it can take a lot of them. So you could put all of those on there if you wanted to. Pretty cool. So we have our speeder bikes. We already looked at them. And let's see, we got our stormtroopers as well. And I just want to point out, like, being able to see all of these poses up front is, you know, in kind of in a close range, you know, kind of close up. It just looks awesome. Like, look at this guy taking a knee right there with the rocket. It just looks awesome. And then this sniper one right here looks great. And you've got your commander with the shoulder pad on. I love the sculpts. I love that they're all in different poses. It's just, I think it's fantastic, and I'm so anxious to get them. But I want to know what you guys think. Have you seen this floating around yet? Were you initially concerned that some of these were too small? Because I don't think that's the case at all. It does look like the Rebels are getting red bases, whereas the Imperials are getting black bases. So if you don't want to paint your stuff, you don't necessarily have to. You can still be playable. And FFG has never really forced people to paint stuff in the past anyway, so I don't think you'll have to do that. So if you're not a painter, you can still play this game. It's going to be a lot of fun. It definitely is. And if you're interested, you can win a free core set by checking out Crabbok.com. I'm going to put a link. I'm having a contest right now to dust off your paintbrushes. And even if you're not a painter, there's still a way you can win some stuff. I am going to be having a contest announced later this week that is going to kind of build on the momentum for the painting contest, where anybody can win, but if you're also in the painting contest, you get extra chances to win that one as well. But the one thing you will have to be is a subscriber, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell for notifications so you don't miss it. That's coming out later this week, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.